Hi everyone and welcome to a new Vlog Files. On this Vlog Files, we're going to look at what's changed in the room, where I'm putting my PCB, and a new repair room. Okay, so we're in the arcade room and I'm joined with my son Luke. How you going, Luke?
Good.
That's good. And Luke wants to give me a hand. He's been helping me all weekend. I'll show you what we've been doing in a minute. He's been helping me all weekend, bring parts in from where the arcades were stored and putting them together and doing all that sort of thing. So he's a bit bored. He's on school holidays, so why not? True?
Yes.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're just going to have a quick look around. There's nothing spectacular to show at the moment. There's my Quartet cabinet that I'm still building. Virtual Fighter 2. Got a couple of Naomi cabinets here. Crazy Taxi. House of the Dead 2. And all these are getting restored. The outruns are here. These are pretty much done. They are as close to museum quality, there's that word again, as they're going to be. They just need probably just a bit of Mr. Sheen or just a bit of a wipe. I've got this here that I'm going to put up. This stuff gets me excited, believe it or not. When I see stuff, especially new like this. Okay, yeah, so that's just a backing, but it's actually clear. Look at that. That is just awesome. I've never seen it anywhere being operated, but it would have come brand new with a pair of machines. And what I'm going to do is probably just put it in the middle because there's 4 of them, there's not 2. So just put it there, and it's another part of the machine. It's another part of the outrun machine. It's got double-sided tape there. Obviously, I'll fold these over so it pops up. Yeah, how cool is that, Luke? Yeah, he loves it. He's biggest Outrun 2 fan ever. All right, so that's it. Virtual Racing's here. That's a massive project. I'm working on the Daytona 2s. You have to watch Insert Coin for that. So all the main ones are here. Power Drift, Afterburner, Outrun, Enduro Racer, Space Harrier. They're all here. They're still not in the greatest, presentation at the moment. They're not presented to be on camera yet. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm actually moving it in. Let's go and have a look at this. This is in the hallway. You can jump off now, Luke. This is in the hallway, and this is my Arcade PCB collection. Now, they're not all here at the moment. I'm putting them up. We'll start with Sega at the top. So we've got, it basically is chronological order, old to new. I don't know why Quartet's at the end. I must have just put that there temporarily. And the CPS2 games are up there. And this is how Capcom started with 1942. And it just goes on and on and on. Sun, Ghosts and Goblins, Gunsmoke, Trojan, Russian Crash. 1943, which is Luke's one of his favourite shooters. Who isn't? I love that game. And it goes on and on and on. I will show you a special board here. I won't show you the board yet. But this is Lost World. Very confused with being the Japanese version of Forgotten Worlds. But it actually is Lost Worlds is a prototype name for Forgotten Worlds, and they put them out into the wild in Japan, and then they withdrew them and put out Forgotten Worlds with some very minor changes, and that was its name. Because if it was called Lost Worlds in Japan, the PC Engine version, the Mega Drive versions, the Japanese versions of those games would have been called Lost Worlds, and they're not. They're called Forgotten Worlds. So that was actually a prototype name. How do I know this? I'm good friends with Nin, who's a designer, creator of Forgotten Worlds, Final Fight, Street Fighter, and to name a few. So that's it. We will look at that board one day. That's a prototype board, but I don't want to show you all this stuff now. Quick vlog to just show you where I'm at, and that just goes right down, all that nice Capcom stuff. Konami stuff, and you probably have noticed that that's the old Konami logo, because when, say, Ya Kung Fu or Jailbreak or Salamander were out, they were using the old Konami logo. And they actually changed on Combat School. That was the one where they changed to the new Konami logo, it's not really current, but because they do it even different now. But when they went to that logo, which was in '87, and then so on. They've just got some Data East, Namco, Taito, again Taito with the old and new logos. but all of them are not here at the moment. I'm just still sorting them out. There's R-Type 1 and 2 and Gunforce, those 3 classic IREM games. IREM had some great games, didn't they? So when we come into here, into this room, now this was my old cinema room back ages ago. Well, not that long ago, about a year and a half ago. For me, that's ages, but yeah, about a year and a half ago, this used to be the cinema, and it's got the roof with the stars. I'll just go and turn that quickly on. Yeah, so these are the star lights, and these are all optic fiber wired. Well, they're optic fibers. And it took Jess and Rob ages to do this for me. I think, yeah, Rob was in the ceiling and Jess was, yeah, Rob was in the ceiling and Jess was down here and had to drill 1,000 holes, literally exactly that number, because it's per kit, it's 250 strands of optic fiber, and we got 4 units, and that creates 1,000 optic lights. And it's an amazing effect. It's amazing, especially when we're watching a movie, we'd have that as an ambient light, and that was amazing. But can you imagine lighting up this room with pinballs and arcades? So that's what this room's going to be. It's going to be 13 pinball machines down here, and the rest of it's going to be predominantly Atari games. And we're starting with Super Sprint and Gauntlet here. I may have another one here and have the fridge tucked behind now. I'm going to have a fridge in here for drinks and all that kind of thing. 720 and Gauntlet are my 2 favourite Atari games. So that's why, especially the artwork on both of them is really, really good. APB is going to be Zybots. Got to think of them all now. Look, I can't just rattle off my head. Zybots. The Xenomorph's going to go in the corner. Spy Hunter, Road Blasters, Star Wars Cockpit, and Hard Driving, or Hard Drive-In, and Stun Runner. But there is another stand-up, it's just slipped my mind. So that's it. That's where this room's at. Let's go and take a look at the workroom. Okay, so this is my house right here, and next to it is kind of a laundry storage area. So this is the laundry. That's boring. Who wants to see that? And this is, which was a storage area, is now my workroom. Okay, so I've just installed a new hot water. Not that that's interesting. I'm saying that because I've got to put a sheet over it every time I spray in here, because spray paint, as you probably know, it goes everywhere. So it still needs a bit of tidying up. Here is all my pressure pack cans. So I've got some yellows and reds and mainly blacks and whites, just to do touch-ups with certain machines. But I like to spray in 2-pack. Now, I'm not talking about the Singer 2-pack. If you don't know, 2-pack is when you've got a hardener. So I'll show you. So that's a fast hardener, which means it'll dry a lot faster. And then you've got the color. That's another hardener. So that's a silver Daytona. So it's the Daytona silver. That'll be for the back bar. You mix them together with a bit of thinners, and that's your 2-pack paint. You stir it up, you spray it, and before you know it, it's fairly dry. It can take anywhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes to actually set dry. And I use these heat lamps here, and they're very bright. Probably camera's just gone crazy. Bright, aren't they, Luke? And I use that on the subject. I shouldn't say subject, on the object. All right, so Luke and I have also been making this workbench, haven't we, Luke? Over the weekend, he was a good little handyman. We made this workbench because I needed to put my sandblaster, and all my paint stuff has to really get put on there. This is just on there because I'm building, but I can grab my paint stuff, put it there, mix my paints, you know, whatever I have to do. That just goes in there in my spray gun, and off I go. So this workbench was so important to have in here, just to put sandblasters, heavy stuff, store stuff under there. So yeah, you always need a workbench. I'll show you this. This is my new toy. It's a sandblaster. So we've already got something in here. I'll get that out. That's the Daytona foot pedals. It actually just fits in here too. So that's the Daytona foot pedals, and this was really bumpy rusted, but now it's actually quite smooth. So that's cool, but now it needs another going over, and I'll get the rust out of that. And I like to bring everything back to metal and then 2-pack it. And if I don't 2-pack it, I'll powder coat it. That's another process. Obviously, it's not done here. I'm saying obviously because you need quite a lot of room, factory and all that kind of stuff. So this was my old spray gun I was using for 8 years, and I've just recently bought a new one. It's the same brand. It's good, and that's called a water trap. So any moisture that you have in your airline, and you will get that, goes into that cylinder, and just pure air goes into your gun because you don't want any bit of water in your paint. It gets fish eyes, and anyway, I'll go through that in another segment. What I will show you, let's have a look how the sandblaster works, because that's always interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on this area. This is the sandblaster. All I do is pull the trigger, the air pumps through, and it grabs the sand from the bottom and it keeps recycling it to clean the part. Let's have a look. Well, I will tell you that's actually a lot of fun to use and just so satisfying to have all that rust come off. Well, not all that rust, this is just very much surface rust. I will touch it, but you shouldn't touch it once you've sandblasted it, but it's extremely smooth. The reason you shouldn't touch it is because if you've got moisture on your hands, you can then start the rust process again. It's very minor, you probably wouldn't even know, but just to be, better be safe than sorry, right? So what I'll do is once I've got all the rust off this, I will then just give it a very light sand with a bit of fine grit sandpaper, so something like this one here, and I'll just go over the whole thing, make sure it's all nice and smooth, and then I will put etch primer or some type of primer over it, and then I'll spray it its colour, which is a certain silver, which I have a place I go to get all my colours matched for all my arcade machines, and they've been wonderful, called Paintmobile. So there you go, that's it. I shouldn't talk any more because I want you guys to watch Insert Coin when we restore the Daytona 2 Deluxe arcade machine to brand new condition. All right, let's go and have a look at the workroom. There's still more. Okay, so we're entering the workroom. Well, really it's a storage area and it's where we fix our arcades and pins. Now this here is my work area, and I've got all my spare parts up here, spare joysticks, wiring, EEPROM erasers, all that stuff, spare power supply, amps, spare boards or busted boards that need fixing. Yes, Mr. Sheen, sit down, Luke. Capacitors, resistors, pinball plugs, I've got the lot, right? So I've got all blank EEPROMs in there, and that's for fixing boards. And that's it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Insert Coin, I'm going to explain it all when we repair arcade boards or even consoles for that matter. We come over to my desk area, and that's just my computer with my trusty EEPROM eraser. It's an EE Tools Top Max 2. It's a great EEPROM eraser programmer, I should say, with my computer. And I wouldn't be anywhere without this. This is my desoldering station. It's not on at the moment. And that basically just, you put it on the legs of the chips, push the button, heats the solder and sucks it up. And yeah, that's it. And I've also got my soldering iron, but that's over in fixing arcades at the moment. That's what I'm doing with that. So what do you think? This is it. The setup's actually happening. You know, the arcade room, the hall with the arcade boards, the other arcade room with the Atari and the pinballs, and then I've got the workroom for spraying. So I guess it's the spray room. And then I've got where all the electronic stuff happens here. And I'm busting to show you guys how to fix and repair boards, consoles, all that kind of thing. Whether it be you know, more complicated stuff, more the modern complicated small stuff, or whether it be classic stuff, which can also be complicated. Yeah, I just really want to show you guys. Okay, we're going to finish the day off with the games room. There's been heaps of work in the last couple of days on the games room, and I've even had to move my septic tank.
Shitter was full!
Yeah. You checked our shitters, honey?
Now, the reason I've had to move the septic tank is because of the games room. And the games room's not small. Don't think it's this, it's this. That's right. This whole mass spot is going to be the games room. It's in fact going to be bigger than the previous games room. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go yet because I haven't measured, but the ground's clear and everything's ready to go. The septic tank was actually dug out over there, so that's good, that's done. And now we start a journey to build the ultimate games room in the world. Bye for now.